put forth is they say, okay, there's these offsets, but we're assuming that all those offsets are caused by recorder stoppage on channel 2. Now, recorder stoppage, these both radio recorders were voice actuated. So they were programmed that they would stop anytime there was dead air to save space on the recording. So if we suppose that the recorder stopped, then we can make up for those offsets. Now, the problem is, alternatively, it could have been something that happened over on channel 1. That would also explain the offsets. There had been speculation that the belt is not the original, that it's a copy. There is speculation that the needle, you had a needle jump. That's speculation. The only thing we know for sure is that there's an offset. Similarly, we do not have direct evidence that the recorder stopped. It's just it's an assumption. What we really know is that there is an offset. And we can test that. We can test the hypothesis that the recorder stopped because the dispatcher protocol was that he would announce the time whenever he would append a time to any of his broadcasts. And so there are several, 6 or 7 broadcasts where he says the time. So now we can use that to test the passage of time, the amount of time that's passed on channel 2. And that's what this is. This is a simple regression analysis showing the observed times when the dispatcher gave his time statement, and this is what we expect to be the passage of time, and we find a poor fit between the dispatcher's time notations. Now, over here we had an offset which we can ascribe to a recorder stoppage. It was between the Bella crosstalk and the Hensley broad crosstalk. If we add that in, we get perfect alignment, near perfect analysis, perfect line between the dispatcher's time notations. The dispatcher had a digital clock in front of him, so whenever he would make a broadcast, he would say it's 12:31. He'd say, car 54, where are you? 12:32. He would give the time notation. If we take the hypothesis, the assumption by Linsker et al., that this big gap in here with that big offset where the Decker broadcast is 2 minutes away from the Bella broadcast on one channel, it's 3 minutes away from the Bella broadcast on the other channel. There's a whole minute offset there. If we add in that time over here, we get a regression that agrees with their hypothesis, and we find it doesn't agree with the dispatcher's time notations. Now, the difference between them is not statistically significant difference to the 95% level. The point is that this is a better fit, and that this line is coherent with the offsets being over on channel 1, and therefore that the sounds could be synchronous with the time of the shooting.
On channel 1 or because of the skip?
Well, again, it's speculation. There's different arguments. One is that the needle jumped.
Right.
Somebody bumped the recorder, caused an offset. Another is that the recording could be a copy, not the original. Again, it's all speculation. What is real that we can measure is the offsets. And that's why their argument fails. It's based on an assumption. It's not based on real data that there's really an offset, that the juxtaposition is real. It's based on the assumption that it could have been real if the offsets are caused by stoppage on channel 1. Channel 2, sorry. So to summarize, we have the suspect sounds have acoustical characteristics of gunfire. All 5 matched test shots in Dealey Plaza. The matches are ordered with respect to the trajectory of the motorcade. The audio sequence matches the wounding sequence. The blur analysis supports the acoustically identified origin of the shots. The photographs do show a motorcycle officer in the acoustically predicted positions. And when McLean was interviewed, when the films indicated that he was the officer in the right position, they asked him if he ever had any trouble with his radio. He said, yeah, my microphone used to stick open on me all the time. So, and then finally, the Fisher crosstalk synchronizes the shots with the assassination.